why people struggle after the age of 40.
You've put on weight and you're wondering where's it come from, but all these small little things of not eating right, not moving more, they all have an impact.
When you were younger, how much you used to move, like now you've slowed down, so you've got to find that balance between your calorie intake and calorie out. But a lot of women, that's what I mean when it comes to weight loss, and they're struggling with weight gain or struggling to get the weight off, they don't realise the hormonal changes that they're going through.
And it gets worse, especially for women. I've never been a sleeper during the day, you know that, unless I'm ill.
Yeah. Hello guys, and welcome to Abbzfit podcast. So on today's episode, we are going to be discussing the struggles of weight gain after 40. And we're going to be joined by our lady specialist coach, Samina. Welcome to the podcast again, Samina. So guys, one of the biggest struggles I found myself, and I seem to find it with a lot of the clients that we come across, is weight gain after 40, the struggles of getting the weight off, misconceptions of, why it's difficult to get the weight off and things like that. So we're just going to go into it and discuss different topics, what the struggles are, how we can overcome them, and what some of the misconceptions are. So we'll get started, Samina.
Where should we start?
So we'll start with what the main struggles are, why people struggle after the age of 40. I mean, to start with, I've noticed it's loss in muscle mass, stress, anxiety. It's, trying things what they've done in the 20s, don't always work in your 40s. It's just different strategies, lack of, good quality sleep and just things like that, what really cause.
I think for me, how long have I been doing these sort of personal training side of things? Probably more than 4 years, and now been doing it a lot more and not realizing the things as simple as sleep, how much that can impact your weight loss journey, and how it can overall impact you on a daily basis, not getting enough sleep, and you're then stressed out the next day because you're so tired, and all these little things add up to the then snacking and the binge eating and not being prepared sort of thing. And then you're just next thing you know, you've basically put on weight. You've put on weight and you're wondering where's it come from. But all these small little things of not eating right, not moving more, sleep, they all have an impact on your body, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think with sleep as well, it's not just the amount of sleep. They need to focus on the quality of sleep.
The quality of sleep,
sometimes, you might be laid in bed for 8 or 9 hours, but it's broken sleep, or you're not having good quality sleep.
Yeah. You've
got things going on in your mind. You're not really... It's what you do before you go to sleep. Preparing yourself for bed. If you're literally switching your phone off and trying to go to sleep, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You need to be away from your phone. I think one thing I've found is putting your phone away 30 minutes before you're going to go to sleep.
Yeah, 100%.
Do something different. Just let your brain switch off and relax, and then try to go to sleep, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. Where we've had the TV on and we're watching TV, and all those little things have an impact on your sleep. And they say have a digital detox, so turn everything off, good half an hour before you're going into bed, and simplify things, trying to switch off.
Yeah.
Not thinking about, when you go to bed and then 100 things come to your mind, and you've done that before, where you'll pick your phone up and you'll make notes, and then you go back to sleep, and then, you try to go back to sleep, and then you're up again and you're making notes on your phone, and next minute it's 12 o'clock when you said you were going to go to bed at 10. So if you're going to put yourself through a routine of actually getting good quality sleep, put yourself through a routine of switching that phone off, don't watch anything, don't turn the TV on, and just making sure that your routine, again, caffeine, don't be having coffee. I don't know how some people do it. They have a coffee at 9 o'clock and they're I'm going to sleep now, and I'm oh my God, if I did that, there's no way I'd be up all night long. And
it's not that. I think even when they do, I do it myself. I can have a coffee and go to bed, but
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I can fall asleep, but your quality of sleep's not the same.
Are you still sort of when you say to me, are you asleep? And I'm I'm not asleep. My eyes are closed, but my mind is still ticking away.
Yeah.
And I just can't switch off.
Yeah, well, one thing I've found now to help me switch off is when I'm doing when you said there about me I'd get into bed, and that's when loads of stuff will come in my head, like, oh, you can do this, or this will work well for the business, or a certain client struggle with something, and something comes to your head, and then the next thing I'm start trying to type notes up on my phone. But instead, now what I do is I try to have a brain dump before going to, like, a good half hour before. So anything you're going to take a bit of time out before that time, get a notepad out, write down anything you can think of, what you need to do tomorrow, what things you've got going on. Get them wrote down on paper, then the next morning when you get up, you're fresh-headed and you can go at them. Yeah. But when you're trying to do it late in bed, you're just going to, like, ruin your sleep. You're going to be doing it half-assed, and you're just not going to get the same outcome.
Yeah, and it gets worse, especially for women, because I know me, when I found sort of like the perimenopausal symptoms, when I realised what I was going through, was when I've never been a sleeper during the day, you know that. Unless I'm ill, I do not sleep during the day. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting on the sofa, and I'm like, put my head down, and I'm out for a good 2-3 hours. And I'm like, what just happened to me? And the worst thing was I was getting up and I felt like half my day had gone. And I'm like, right, there's something seriously wrong with me. Like, am I ill? Is there something going on? Like, what was it? And at that point, I didn't even know that perimenopause could begin in your 30s. Yeah. And I was just like going to the doctor saying to him, I think there's something wrong with me. And even to the point, I don't know if I ever told you, I was thinking, am I pregnant? Because the only time I used to ever get really tired during the day was when I was pregnant. And I was like, I think I'm pregnant. Do I need to do a test? I was like, I don't want a kid going into my late 30s. Yeah. And but of course it was perimenopausal symptoms. But
a lot of women, that's what I mean when it comes to weight loss, and they're struggling with weight gain or struggling to get the weight off, they don't realise the hormonal changes that they're going through. Yeah. Most women can be in perimenopause for 10 years before they go into menopause. Yeah. And it's like, they don't know they're in it, and, you know, so these are things you need to look at. If your weight's not coming off the way it used to come off, something's changing your body. So you need to, if you keep trying to do what you've always done, you're always going to get the same outcome. And if it's not changing, then it's not going to change by keep doing it. You need to find out why it's not, and then adapt changes. You know, as your hormones change, if you're at that stage in life, especially when you get in your 40s, one of the biggest things that happens is muscle mass drops. Yeah. Now people think, oh, my metabolism slowed down. Yes, your metabolism slowed down, but why is it slowed down? Because you've got less muscle mass on your body. Yeah. More muscle mass your body carries, the more calories you will naturally burn at rest. Yeah, 100%. Now, if that drops, you need to tackle it. So how do we tackle that? Women, I always say to women, you need to start strength training. Yeah. You need to introduce more protein into your diet. They're the only two ways that you're going to increase muscle mass, or at least protect the muscle tissue that you've got. And then that, in turn, is going to protect the bone density, which is the next thing to drop.
One of the things a lot of the women, whenever I'm talking to them, or, you know, clients or whoever it is, when they're going on to the weight loss journey, they immediately think, oh, I'm going to cut out my carbs. And I'm like, why? They're like, but I've got to cut out my carbs because I need to lose weight. And I'm always like, no. Yeah. No one said, unless you have an intolerance to a certain type of food, do not cut out any type of food source. You need it. Like, it's so beneficial, especially when you're on your weight loss journey and you're training. You need your carbs. It's a source of energy. Yeah. But you need to be mindful of what types of carbs you're having. You don't want to be eating your pastries and your pizzas on your weight loss journey. You just have to be mindful that you're having the correct type of carbs.
Yeah, that's it. I think what most people do when it comes to any weight loss journey, they look at what they can't eat. Yeah. Instead, what I try to focus on, and what I try to get the clients to focus on, let's make a list of the foods you can eat. Yeah. Let's look at the carbs that are going to benefit your body. Yeah. Don't look at like what you can't. Don't restrict yourself. Look at like the carbs as fuel. Look at any, you know, your fats as fuel, your protein. Everything's got a purpose. Now, if you look at what you can eat, it's going to be more enjoyable than looking at what you can't, because then you always want what you can't have. Yeah. So instead, 100%. Focus on the foods that you can have. So look for like whole foods, nutrient-dense foods, foods that are going to benefit your body, especially when you're in your 40s and you're going through these hormonal changes. Even with men, like me, myself, like as I've got older, I've realised I need better food in my body. Yeah. You can't get away with running on junk like we used to when we were younger.
At the end of the day, we're all aging, no matter you're a man or a woman. I mean, the difference with the women is that there's so many, as your hormone levels are changing, they're declining, you're then battling all these different types of symptoms. But no matter what, your bone health is declining, your muscle mass, so you're losing your strength. So when you get older and you see someone who's struggling to open a tin of anything or a jam jar, whatever it is, or like bending down to tie your shoelaces or walking with bags of shopping, you're losing your strength, and that's what you want to try to maintain, because you need that so that you can just get through your daily chores. And then of course the bone decline, you're at risk of fractures or osteoporosis. So these are the little things that you need to be mindful of, and making sure that you're getting all those things in your diet. Like I know that now when I'm making sure that I'm having a proper meal, which is plenty of protein. There's so many times when we've had sort of like chicken and rice on the side, but then we've got more carbs on there and not enough protein, and then we don't have fiber on there. So now I'm so mindful of making sure that I've got plenty of protein there, the right amount of carbs and the correct types of carbs as well, and plenty of fiber on there. And if I'm having those type of meals throughout the day, I'm full. I don't need to, I'm not snacking. I'm not looking for the next sort of like meal, or I'm like, oh, I'm still hungry. There used to be times when I've eaten in the morning and I'm like, well, I've had my breakfast. Why am I still hungry? Why am I snacking for the next thing? It's because I haven't had the right type of breakfast. So now I'm making sure that, I've got the right amount of food, it's well balanced and keeping me fuller for longer. Yeah,
and again, that comes back to me. It's like, focus on your protein. Like, I'm not saying only eat protein, but focus on the protein first. So
good source of protein.
And if you're eating your protein first, I guarantee you're less likely to overindulge in the carbs and the fats. If you go for them first, you're going to overindulge. It's like when you go to a restaurant and they put the bread basket out. Most people dive in that, but I used to be the worst for it. Now I try to avoid it, because you'll fill yourself up with that bread, and then your protein or your food comes, your chicken or whatever you've ordered. It's normally chicken or steak with me, but that'll come, and then you struggle to eat that. And again, you head towards the chips or the side first. And like, now I've got into a habit of when I go to a restaurant,
eat the protein.
So I'll eat the steak or the chicken or whatever's on my plate, protein source. Eat that first. And then if I am going to leave anything on the plate, because I'm full, it's going to be the carbs or the fats that
100%.
That are not going to be as satiating as a protein. And it's going to be a lot easier to hit your protein goal that way as well. And you can still enjoy eating out and having these food. And it teaches you, like, you learn. Like, I've got clients now who've come on with us, and in the first 10 weeks, they've dropped like 5 to 10 kilo or whatever. And they've, and they've done it while they're going on holidays, while they're eating out, while they're going, and they're saying to me, I've never been able to do this. But it's because we've just taught them the habit of, like, focus on protein when you're eating out. Don't go for the,
one thing I've seen a lot, again, with our clients is majority of them say when the one thing that they struggle with is not knowing what to eat. So once they know what to eat, one of the answers I always get back is the responses is, I feel so much more energetic, I've got so much more energy, like I feel so much more different. It's because they get nutritious food, whole foods. They're not relying on takeouts. We have become a society of takeouts completely, and you wonder why there's so many health issues, because
that's why
you don't know what's going in your food.
That's why I've done the food sensitivity test. Like, you mentioned that to me, like, you need to do this test, you need to do this test. And I couldn't believe the foods that came back saying you need to avoid these. And then there was foods on there that I thought were bad, and it was telling me to eat them. And as soon as I've made them tweaks and changes to my diet, I've not changed like the amount of food. I've just had to switch out certain foods. And I've ended up like losing weight a lot quicker. I'm seeing better results in the gym. My energy levels have gone up, and it's just down to like them making them changes. And if I hadn't have done that food sensitivity test, I wouldn't have never known that, and I'd have just carried on thinking it was something that you blame it elsewhere, but really in reality it was just purely certain foods. My body wasn't working. I mean, there was foods on there that your test came back with different foods, mine came back with something. Do you know what I mean? But it is, isn't it? Like, but at the same time, you'd rather know, wouldn't you? It's not that tells you not to eat them, it just shows you what you should eat in moderation and what you can get away with eating and what's going to cause you problems. And now we've tackled that.
I know what was causing, I didn't know what was causing mine. I was thinking, was it this? But basically mine was saying that I shouldn't be really having any dairies, but thank God I can have eggs, because I was like, if I cannot have eggs, I love my eggs first thing in the morning. So that was one good thing. But now I understand why I was getting those horrific migraines, and now I understand why I was constantly waking up in the morning just bloated, and I hadn't even eaten anything. And I was like, oh God, I can't wear my dress because my stomach's just bloated. And I'm like, so I'm glad I did it, because now I understand what's going on with the foods that I'm eating. And don't don't want to eliminate certain dairy products, but if it means I'm not getting a migraine or I'm not getting digestive issues, yeah, I'm going to cut those things out. So I definitely recommend it to anyone. Yeah. Even if you don't, it just helps, like, because we don't realize, like, when they talk about ill health and health issues, it always comes back to the more research you do, your gut.
Yeah.
They say your gut, clean up your gut. Yeah. So many issues that you have, and we don't even realize that when we are getting a migraine, or if you've got like a skin sort of like condition or digestive issues, certain things, like, you're eliminating it by taking care of your gut.
Yeah. If you are watching this and you are suffering from any issues like this, or you think there's certain foods that cause you issues, I'll put a link in the description for the food sensitivity test. You can just get there, hit that link there, and you can get access to this food sensitivity test. There's no needles or anything involved in it. It's just basically sending off a hair sample, and you get a report back from a lab with exactly, what food you should be eating, what you should avoid, what you can eat in moderation. It gives you a full detail of, it's not just the food, there's over 1,200 different things that they test on it. So it's quite a good test. It tells you
about your hormones as well, your hormones, like any sort of metals, like in regards to airborne, chemicals.
Yeah, it was quite detailed. I was quite shocked, how detailed it was. I think the other thing is as well, obviously, when it comes to weight loss, I mean, aside of the food as well, the biggest one I find is people are stuck in a pattern of trying, like, what worked 10 or 20 years ago isn't going to work now.
Yeah.
And people still go for that same pattern. I see, like, so many people in the gym on, like, for example, just on a running machine every day, and they never change.
Sweat it out.
Yeah, the body never changes, and they might have been going to that gym for a year.
Yeah.
But then I'll see somebody who's over in the weight section who's been going the same time, and their body's changing. You've seen the weight loss because they don't understand the difference. Like, yes, when you were younger, I used to do it myself when we were younger and we were boxing. You put a bit of weight on, you go for a few runs, a few extra boxing sessions, and that was it. The weight would start going back to normal.
Yeah.
But now you're in your 40s. Didn't work like that.
Doesn't.
Even in my 30s.
Completely differently.
In my 30s, I was way out of shape. I was like, when I stopped boxing when I was early 20s, we had kids. You settle down, family becomes a priority, work becomes a priority, training took a back step, and then the weight came on, and before I knew it, I'm sat there, big belly on me. I was over 16
we've changed so much. Can you remember? We literally, after food every night, like a full pack of biscuits with a cup of tea.
It was just the norm,
and I could literally demolish a full pack to myself.
Now, when I look at, like, the calories and things, and I'm tracking calories and stuff, it's like, wow, when I look at what we used to eat then, compared to now, and it wasn't in volume, it was like that was your normal food, and then you'd be putting like another couple of thousand calories worth of junk in.
Sometimes I used to go to burger place at lunchtime for lunch, like from work, and if I think about what I was eating and how many calories, and I mean, I was pretty lucky because my metabolism was working so fast. But if you think about it, really, I wasn't putting nutritious food into my body. Yeah,
but we got away with it when we were young as well. This is another thing people don't realise, is that we're getting away with these things when we're younger, because look how active, like, this is one thing people I think miss, is how active they were then to what they are now. You think back, like, when we were younger, you were more or less not eating on, not even just eating on the go. You were eating, like, you'd eat and then you'd be out the house, or you'd be going out meeting the lads, or going doing whatever. Like, you wouldn't eat and just sit on the sofa and watch TV like we do now. Back them days, when you're in your 20s and your teens, you're up and out. You don't want it. You don't sit about.
People constantly on their mobiles now.
Yeah, so the activity levels are, like, nowhere near what they used to be.
Yeah.
So you got away with eating them foods because you were naturally burning them. Now you've become, less active, and you're eating more calories. So you're going to gain weight. You're going to struggle to get it off. So you've got to look at your activity levels. That's why I always say to clients, like, as much as you think, people think they're active because they go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week. That does not mean that you're active.
What are you doing throughout the day?
I've had people fill in consultation forms. I'm like, oh, what's your activity levels like? Oh, yeah, I'm very active. All right, yes, so put it down. Go to the gym 4 days a week. Oh, okay, so what type of job do you do? I'm sat at a desk. So how often do you go out walking? Oh, I don't. Like, you're not active then. As far as I'm concerned, you're not an active person. You go to the gym 4 days a week.
Yeah.
That's 4 hours out of 168 hours.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing the rest of the time? So that, to me, is not high activity levels. And when you get them to go and track the steps, and they're like, oh, I only do 1,500 steps a day or 2,000 steps a day, then slowly build them up, and then you start to see the weight coming down, and you start to see the changes, and you see the energy levels increase. That's another thing you don't realise. You're going to have a big increase in energy levels when you start to take care of your body. you're putting in the right fuel, you're exercising, you're moving. Just by walking around, you're getting the blood flowing around your body, you're getting your joints working properly, you're getting your muscles working properly. So it's, you know...
I feel like, again, we've become a society of quick fixes. We want a quick fix. But it doesn't fix anything. It might fix it for a short time, but as soon as you come away from that, the problems will come back.
Yeah, that's again, it's quick fix is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fix the issue. The issue is not the way, like you see, you're 16 stone.
Yeah.
You've got to 16 stone because of the habits that you've got in your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So if you use a quick fix to get rid of that 16 stone, but you haven't fixed them habits, how are you going to keep the weight off? Because the minute you stop doing that fad diet, these stupid pens that they're injecting or whatever else it is they're doing, but, you know, whatever, even if it's a fad, like, you know, 8-week shred or whatever it is you do, the minute you stop doing that and you go back to your old habits, you're going to continue. That's why with our program, we focus on building habits. You know, that's the 3D method where we like design, you know, discover what the issues are, what got you where you are. Then we'll design your program, then we'll deliver your program. It's like, you've got to follow that sort of system to understand and get a result. That way the client learns like how to build new habits, how to change and adapt.
And what I love about it is because when I get the feedback and when so many of the women say, I don't care about the number on the scales anymore, I feel so good, I feel so energetic, I'm so happy, I'm sleeping better, I can see my body changing, I'm fitting into clothes, and they're just like, I can see sort of like definition in my body and everything. But so when they're coming back with feedback like that and not saying, oh, the number on the scales haven't gone down, but I can see my body changing and I feel so much more happy in myself. Amazing.
Well, we've got like our client Lottie, she was like, she's dropped I think 32 kilo now.
Yeah.
This year she went with us and done Tough Mudder, like something she'd never dreamed of. She like going into the cold water, doing things like she was coming out and doing dips in the cold sea with me on the morning. Yeah, like that was someone like the wins that she was getting. Forget about the weight loss. The weight loss has just been a part of it, and it's that's just, to me that was
that she's accomplished with
that was a side effect of what she's got. But like look at the going in the sea with us on the morning, coming to do Tough Mudder. She's now doing couch to 5K on her own. She's running out far. Now, isn't she? She's out running. These are things that she would never have dreamed of back when we first, started coaching with us. And now it's like they're the wins. It's not just about the weight loss.
Yeah,
the weight and 32 kilo what she's lost is fantastic. Like, but it's what the other wins that she's seeing. Her energy levels and her food. The difference, that's been the biggest challenge for us.
She was a snacker, wasn't she?
Big, like everything. It was never like, I've never seen her eat a proper meal. Where now she's had minimal snacks, maybe it's 1 or 2 a day, sometimes none. But she's having 3 or 4 square meals, and they're like proper meals. But the meals, if I show you pictures of them, they're enjoyable. You'll see like a chicken kebab, or you'll see like,
Haven't you found so many of like our clients, the busy mums, who are literally eating leftover from the kids' meals, and they're not actually having a proper meal?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, I'm only eating this. But then when we're going through week by week and we realise that, actually, no, I'm eating the kids' leftovers and then I only eat this. Yeah. So they're not actually eating a full proper meal.
But they're putting that many calories in while they're cooking the kids' tea and then what the kids leave over on the plate. And it's, like even one of the guys I was coaching, Trevor, he said to me, like when the kids leave the food, he said, I eat that. And I said, but that's where your calories are coming from. Because you're eating your own plate. The kids are leaving theirs and you're having that. And he said, I know, but I don't like to see it go to waste. But that's it. So it's not just the women when they're cooking, it's the men as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of them issues. But you've got to look at all these things. And these are the reasons why, like, in your 40s and so on, it does get harder. Because these are little habits and that's why you've got to fix these habits. Yeah.
And I always say as well, like, everyone looks for, like when they're looking for quick fixes or they're looking for something on the market, which is like, what's going to help me in regards to, topping up my protein, or what's going to help me fix my sort of like, I don't know, hair problem, or they're always looking for like some sort of fix, some sort of supplement. And it's fine to have some form of supplement. It's always good to sort of top up on something. But I feel like so many people are just reliant on some form of supplement or medication to resolve a problem. But when, again, the more and more research you do, it all comes down to what you're eating. Like, if you were to stop with the highly processed foods and actually have wholesome foods made at home, you'd be surprised the difference you're going to start seeing.
Yeah, it is 100%. Your food is so important. Like, it's try to eat as much like, I'm not saying, like, you know me, I love a cake and I love dessert, chocolate.
We know
But
that,
you've got, like, it's, how hard it's been for me, like, remember when we used to have that big box in the kitchen, like, just full of chocolate and crisps and, like, junk.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we got rid of that. Now it's like, if I want a chocolate, we won't have it in the house, but I'll go to the
There used
shop.
to be one full cupboard.
I know.
Can you remember?
Yeah, but no, it's that's it now. We're switching that habit. Like, we changed that habit,
Yeah.
got rid of that. And if we want a treat, it's a case of, like, we'll walk to the shop and we'll get one.
Even the kids, remember when I still make them, like when I make homemade treats, and they're like homemade treats such as like with dates and honey and chia seeds. And it got to the point where the kids are like eating them and they were like, oh, we love these. So we're implementing those habits into the kids, because if we today carried on with the tea and biscuits, they would still be doing the same.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Like, that always comes back to, like, the Asian, like, Pakistani culture and the Asian culture. Like, they've got them bad habits, and that's why diabetes is, you know, massive in our culture.
Yeah.
Why? Because we follow the habits of our parents, and if we continue with them habits, our kids are going to follow it, and they're going to get diabetes. So it's the same issue. It's just like a case of fixing the old habit. You need to change your habit, otherwise you're never going to get the result that you're looking for.
And even we used to look at like the calories. Like we only, in the last few years, looked at the calories on a rusk, the long biscuit rusks, and then we were like, what the hell? Like, I could literally eat 10 of those, and that was over 1,000 calories.
Yeah, but that it comes back to even the healthy foods, like them healthy snacks. Yeah, I've seen people do that with the healthy snacks.
Yeah.
Because, they're healthy. They've got, they're made from honey, dates, and etc. But it's all calorie-dense stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's nutritious, but you've still got to look, because like, when we first started making them, I was thinking because they were healthy, I was just banging them in, and you don't realise you can...
This is the thing with you, though. You won't just have one. Like, I know I can control, I'll be like, I'm just going to have one. You will be like, oh, well, it's healthy, so I can have more.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
You won't even just have one or two. You'll literally, like, demolish the whole tray. I'm like, what are you doing?
But that's it. These are the habits I've had to change, and that's the only way I've seen results. Like, last year when I got myself down to 72 kilo for that photo shoot, and it was like, they were the habits that we've changed, and we've managed to keep the weight off now. Like, obviously I'm not staying at 72, it just looked like a stick, but
you were going to build up
from
but
there. It's just a case of, like, now I've been able to maintain, like, around about 76, 78 kg mark, and that's the benefit of, like, knowing, like, boundaries. Now I know if my weight creeps up to a certain number, I know it's time to rein it in now. I need to start being a bit careful, cut down on the... And you just make a few tweaks. You learn how to do these, but you're only going to learn that if you do things properly.
Yeah.
Don't expect results. The main thing is, people need to realise is you haven't gained that weight overnight. You know, like me, when I was, like I said there, I was 16, 17 stone when I was 32. That was from the age of, I'd say, from 22 to 32.
Yeah.
I think when we got married, I was 22, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were about 22.
So it's, in that 10 year, that's when I'd gained that weight. Like, so, and in all honesty, it probably took me the same time to get it off. In the firm, like I'd say, it was going up and down, and it was just trial and error, doing different things.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest barrier for me was getting over changing my training routine. I've always had that mentality of train hard and and I've always had that. And like, you've seen me,
sweat it out. If you're not sweating, you haven't worked.
Well, you've seen me when I train. Like, back then, I used to have to, like, everything was like 100 mile an hour. I used to have to train fast, train hard, and that's how. And the minute, like, and when I really seen results, and it was in my 40s, when I changed and I slowed down the training, switched over to focusing more on strength training, doing more steady state cardio, which I found boring and slow. Like, I hate it, and like, I've got no patience.
Yeah.
But when I started doing that, that's when I got into the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
Because I adapted and changed to something that...
When we were getting married, and they only had that one dress left for the wedding.
Yeah.
And, I mean... I wasn't big. I've always been slim. I mean, it's not as if I was big, but it was just like, just that one last button would not close up. And it was like, and back then it was like Atkins diet. That was one where no carbs, and it was literally just like protein and like fiber. I think that's all it was, like salads basically. I was literally living off like tuna salads for work, and then in the evening going home to eat. And I remember just like sweating it out, cardio. And when I think back, like, it's madness, because I always say now, like, of course, it does change from back then. I was much younger then, 20 years on, dealing with perimenopause symptoms, everything like that. Body fat distribution just hits the waistline. So I have to work differently, which is fine. But one of the questions I always get asked is, like, how do you do, Samina? What do you do, Samina? What do you do? And I'm just like, look, just start working out. You know, I'm just like, start eating right and start working out. But I don't want to give up my chocolate. And I'm like, that's fine, don't give up your chocolate. But like, don't have it every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I liked it a couple of times a day. Okay, so have it once a day then. Make those small little sacrifices. All I'm saying is don't have 2 a day, have 1 a day. Eventually you'll get to the point when you're eating right, you're not even going to want that 1 chocolate a day. You'll probably only have it once a week. So I'm not saying that, you know, you have to cut everything out, but everything's in moderation. Yeah. If you want to achieve those goals, everything, again, moderation. Eat a proper meal, couple of, you know, 2-3 times a day, depending what your lifestyle is. Some people intermittent fast. I'm one of those where I need my breakfast first thing in the morning. So what works for you? And that's something that we always say to our clients, anyone who's coming to join the program, what do you enjoy? What is your day like? Do you have breakfast? Do you not have breakfast? You tell me so that I can implement that into your lifestyle, so that eventually when you do go off, you're going to build those habits where it doesn't feel like that, oh God, they told me that I can't eat this or I can't do this. So then, because then people end up being like, oh, I can't do this. They do it for a week, comes their second week and they can't do it no more because it's too restrictive.
I've actually had people say to me on the phone, oh, well, I want to do this, but I don't like breakfast. They think they have to eat breakfast. Like I don't have breakfast. I'll have a black coffee on the morning and that's it. Like I'd rather save them breakfast calories for later in the day so I can enjoy bigger meals. And as I always say to the client, like, if you don't like breakfast, not a problem. We'll skip breakfast. Not intermittent fasting. We're just skipping breakfast. So your breakfast is going to be at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, whenever you're going to have your first meal, and that's when you have your first meal of the day. That's what it is. So people, there's that many misconceptions out there. People think they're not losing weight because they're skipping breakfast. Some people think they're not losing weight because they're having breakfast. Some people believe they're not losing weight because they're eating late on a night. The top and bottom of it is you're not losing weight because, one, you're not in a calorie deficit. You think you're in a calorie deficit, but you're not. And secondly, you're trying to do what worked 20 years ago, and it's not going to work for you now. So you need to make sure that, you know, it's just a case of doing things that are going to work for you now. If it's not working, have a look why it's not working, figure out where you're going wrong and put it right. I
had someone who literally was like, put the plan together for them, and then it was a week or second, we went into the second week, and they literally were like, I hate working out. I said, okay. And they were literally, no, I literally hate working out. I don't want to work out. Like, and I said, right, okay. So what do you enjoy? Then they told me what they enjoy. I said, right, so let's get this in place then. There's no point in you doing something if you don't like it. Of course, we want to implement some form of like resistant training, strength training, because it's going to help you in the long run. But do something that you enjoy. It's better than doing nothing.
That's it. Like, I've had people where they said to me, oh, I don't like cardio. All right, just go for 2 more steps. Go for a walk. Put a podcast on or put your headphones, music on, and just go for a walk. Even like I think there was one client who said, oh, well, I ring my mum every evening at this time for half an hour. Okay, pick your phone up, put your phone and go for a walk while you're talking to your mum. And you're like, oh, well, I never thought about it like that. I thought, instead of sitting on your sofa, you're on your mobile anyway. You're not. I don't know anyone these days who uses a house phone. So you're on your mobile, get up and go for a walk while you're doing that call. And you've still spoke to your mum. You've still done your walk. You've hit your steps. Do you know what I mean? It's just making them little changes. People think they've got to do everything overnight. It's just small steps. Well,
like you said before, like, you didn't put that weight on overnight. It was over a period of time. Was it a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it was? So it's going to take time to lose that weight.
Exactly.
And if you're looking for a quick fix, just remember that quick fix will only last for a short period of time. It's going to come back again. So do it in over a period of time in a healthy way. That way you're going to pick up healthy habits. It's not going to feel overwhelming. You're not going to feel like, oh God, this is like too much, and then give up, and you're going to go back to step one again. So
I think another thing as well, people, you know, that don't look at is stress. Like, stress causes, you know, it's a big impact on weight gain and struggling to get rid of weight. So again, look at like stress. What's causing the stress? Try and find the trigger point and find solutions to overcome them. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the things that people miss, and they don't realise, like we said, sleep affects it, stress spikes cortisol levels, and that's going to affect your weight gain. So just make sure if something's triggering you, or certain time of day that triggers your like find a solution and make sure you've got something in place to stop you going to food for comfort.
Yeah.
Because when we're stressed or we're angry or we always go towards comfort eat, that's it.
Yeah.
So you've got to tackle these issues head on and like find out what causes it, right? What can I put in place to make sure I don't comfort eat sort of thing?
I mean, I've struggled with my sleep and it's on and off, but I know if I wake up 2 or 3 in the morning and if I go down those stairs, I will turn the TV on, I'll make a cup of tea and I will end up snacking. So I'm just like, no, stay in bed.
Yeah.
I will eventually get past that stage and fall asleep.
Yeah.
So those little things, find something, you know, to avoid making it worse for yourself, basically. Because I know I would. If I go downstairs, that's it. First thing I'm going to do is a cup of tea.
Yeah, that's it.
Somewhere I'll find some sort of snacks hidden.
And the reason people go towards snacks as well is because they're not full from the foods that they're eating.
Yeah.
I always say to people, eat your protein first.
Yeah.
If you, and again, if you're struggling, like some people say, oh, I'm struggling to hit my protein goal. You're struggling because you're putting the wrong foods on your plate. Yeah. Make the smarter choices. Do you know what I mean? And if I've had people where they said, oh, I don't like tracking calories. If you don't like tracking calories, don't track calories. Just try to hit your protein goal. Yeah. I guarantee you, if you hit your protein goal, you're going to be that full. You're not going to want extra food.
100%.
Because protein's going to fill you more than any other food will. Yeah. And if you've got a protein goal and you're doing it properly, you go like pound for pound with body weight. Yeah. You're going to get the struggle to hit that protein goal and not be full.
Yeah, same here.
And that's without tracking calories. You're just tracking your protein. Yeah. Just make sure you're getting that protein in and you're going to be full.
Same here. I've noticed that when I make sure that I've got plenty of like, let's just say a full piece of chicken breast, where before I'd probably cut it in half and be like, oh, I'm not going to eat the whole thing. Yeah. And make it into 2 pieces, like a second meal. I eat the full thing now. Yeah. And I'm full. I literally don't need anything after that. Yeah. It's the same strategy. Like I said, when you go to a restaurant, go for the protein and then you're less likely to overindulge in other things. Yeah. And if you're eating your full meals and then you're having snacks in between, you're going to be less likely to have them if you're full from the food that you've had. Yeah, 100%. It's just where most people go wrong, isn't it? That's the other thing when I was saying about activity levels. Like, you've got to look when you were younger, how much you used to move. Like, now you've slowed down. So you've got to find that balance between your calorie intake and calorie out. Like, yeah. We've got used to getting in cars, haven't we, for everything? Yeah. Like, before, when I used to go to work, you'd walk to the train station. You know, there was a lot of walking in the underground sort of thing, and then again getting out of the train station and walking to work from there. Yeah. And it can be a bit of a walk, and I was constantly walking. Yeah. And then even now, I mean, like going to the shop, don't get in the car. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes we get lazy and there's a shop just literally down the road, a minute away, and we get in the car because it's convenient. Yeah, that's it. I can't bother carrying the shopping bags home. I mean, unless you're doing a big shop or something. But other than that, I'm just like, no, let's walk around. Yeah. So those little things, or just like walking, like just in general, walking to do, like going up the stairs when like you send one of the kids, like, kids, go get that for me. Yeah. That's it, you just got to have it and you're doing it. So as a recap, guys, just to run through what we've been over and you know how you're going to overcome this weight gain in your 40s is simple. Look at the diet, detail like what type of food you're eating, making sure you're eating whole foods, introduce strength training alongside steady state cardio, and make sure your rest and recovery is just as important as the training that you do, and just try to increase your activity levels through steady state cardio. If you don't know how to do this, or you are still struggling, feel free to hit the link in the description below, booking a free strategy call with myself or Samina, and we can run you through exactly how we can put a plan in place to help you achieve your goals and get you the results that you want. If you did find this podcast useful and you've enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the subscription button, like and follow and share it with your friends, guys. Thanks for watching. See you all next time.